Welcome back to Centre Ring Professional Boxing, SBS promotion, fighting for men's health. 8 rounds in the welterweight division, both unbeaten boxers. Would you welcome in the blue corner from Bentley East, Melbourne's East, Andrew.
The beautiful Bellarine Peninsula as we come for our third fight for the evening here at the arena, and this one will be an absolute cracker.
And will you welcome in the red corner from Bentley East, how about that, the same area, same suburb, ferocious Terry Tzouramanis. They're Bentley boys in Terry.
You're welcome to ringside here, one of the finest boxing judges in the world today, and I speak of none other than Las Vegas-based Robert Hoyle. Rob, welcome to Australia again.
Hey, thank you very much. What a pleasure to be here in this exciting arena and this exciting night.
And Rob, look, you know, I know you work a lot of fights. You've done Mayweather just recently, you've done Pacquiao just recently, you've done them all in Vegas, you get to see it all. You know, you've been down to Australia 3 or 4 times now as we're watching ferocious Terry Tzouramanis enter the ring now, into the red corner. But, you know, how do you think the comparison when you see the local domestic product here in Australia compared to the local domestic product in the United States?
You know, Brad, I got to tell you, there's nothing like seeing hungry fighters. These guys are hungry. They're coming to make their mark. And I tell you what, these guys fit in any venue in New York, Las Vegas, Los Angeles. You could put these guys in any arena, they would do well.
Yep.
Welcome back to our semi-main event of the evening, SBS Promotions. This is the biggest crowd, I said to David Stanley before. Boxing's never had a crowd so large and a sellout at the arena in Geelong. Congratulations to Geelong and also the Mayor for his great generosity, John Mitchell. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, 8 rounds of international boxing in the welterweight division. Both fighters have a lot in common. Both are unbeaten in their professional campaign. Both live in the same suburb, East Bentley, Bentley East, Victoria. As Michael Vukovic said, they came from Bentley, from the same suburb to fight in Geelong. Would you welcome in the blue corner from East Bentley, originally from Wolverhampton, UK, via Belfast, Northern Ireland. He's boxed in the United States of America at 63.70 kilograms, wearing black trunks with gold stars and white trim. 8 fights, 7 wins, 1 draw, 4 by knockout. Would you welcome Andrew Wallace? And across the ring from Bentley East, 10 professional fights, 7 wins, 3 draws, 2 wins by knockout. Ranked by Sugar Ray Whitley, number 4 contender in Welter Boxing Magazine. 63.40 kilograms, Big Ben Chua from Carrum, his coach. Also unbeaten, black trunks like Mike Tyson. When you welcome ferocious Terry Tzouramanis. Judges on the 10-point mass system, Jeff Eddy, Chris Anderson Sr. and Anika Williams. Here's Ignatius Miscellatus with referee's instruction.
A referee tonight, IBF accredited and one of Victoria's finest is Ignatius Miscellatus. Hard to say, but easy to watch. Terrific referee and a really nice guy outside the boxing ring.
obey my commands at all times. I think it's just does now.
Very short and sweet.
And this is my first look in the flesh of Kerry Tzouramanis in the red corner and Andrew Wallace in the blue corner. Both guys wearing black trunks. Tzouramanis in the red gloves with the silver band and piping, while Andrew Wallace with the black trunks with the white band and piping with the black gloves. Everlast gloves, and terrific gloves they are too.
I like the fact that Mike Tyson's legacy is still living on amongst some of these fighters, and they're embracing his toughness, and I think they're going to bring some of that action into the ring.
Absolutely, and in Las Vegas, Robert, you live just around the corner from Iron Mike, don't you?
I live very close to him. It is not uncommon to see him at the grocery store.
Absolutely. And of course, you know, today Mike is very, very relaxed, very at peace with himself, and really is starting to find that he's enjoying life again.
Yes, he has found a rejuvenation of his life, I believe, with his Broadway show, his one-man show that he's performing. Is absolutely amazing. It's receiving a lot of credit.
Yeah, and they tell me it's absolutely riveting stuff, they tell me. And that sold out crowds at Broadway for Iron Mike Tyson. Once the most feared man on the planet, once the most misunderstood man on the planet, but now one of the most respected and liked.
He gives folks a real chance to see the inside, the inner workings of Mike Tyson, how he got to where he is today. And it's fascinating, especially for young fighters that are have some, you know, inspired to get to that level. You know, he shows them what his blueprints were and how he got there, the rough road that it took to get there. But he's coming back, and I think he's got a good legacy he's going to leave behind.
And it really was a marvellous ride, wasn't it? It was an amazing ride up, and it was an amazing ride back. You know, the highs were incredibly high, and the lows were awfully low. You know, so I guess there's some lessons to be learned from that. But let's have a look at this fight here as we see ferocious Terry Tzouramanis, a Melbourne-based junior welterweight with a professional record of 10 fights, 7 wins, 2 by way of knockout, and an amazing 3 draws. As he ducks and weaves, as Andrew Wallace starts to unload a little bit in the neutral corner on Tzouramanis. He's not having to go and find him, and as referee Ignatius Miscellany warns him for pushing the head down. My first look at both these fighters, Andrew Wallace, I haven't seen him in the flesh prior to tonight. And the same as Terry Tzouramanis. Of course, we've seen the records, and if you want to check the records of any fighter in Australia, and indeed any fighter or ring official or fight around the world, just go to www.boxrec.com, and it'll have everything there for you. As this is starting to just get a little untidy here, Rob. Both guys are trying to assert their ascendancy and not get hit.
Yes, they are, but I tell you one thing I do admire, these guys are working the body. They do not abandon the body work, and they are working from the ground up to break down their opponent.
Absolutely, as Tzouramanis hits Wallace with a nice looping right hand, and he goes again.
Round 1.
I think that was a very, very close round, as we see a little bit of a swelling come up over the right eye of Terry Tzouramanis. Looks like a little egg just on top there in the red corner, but I'm quite sure that Big Ben Chua from Big Ben's Gym over the other side of town in the eastern suburbs will have a look at that for him.
Straight right hand, stacking a lot, he's open the 4 with the uppercut. Right? If you throw a 4, always go 3. In case you miss the 4, you've got the 3 coming. Left hook. Uppercut, left hook, straight right. He's open a straight right, left on the center. Right? There's no parking the attack on the road. When you get there, he comes in, turn him off. Right?
4 rounds, I believe, to
Absolutely, yeah.
to make his mark.
Well, this is actually a scheduled 8-round fight.
Oh, 8 rounds. Okay.
Yeah, so, which is a long distance for these young guys. And,
Seconds out. Round 2.
Andrew Wallace having his 9th fight tonight, while Terry Tzouramanis is having his 11th fight. So very close in the records. Tzouramanis has had 2 fights for 2012. Andrew Wallace, born in Wolverhampton in West Midlands in the United Kingdom, and has been residing in Belfast in Ireland. So he's certainly been around a little bit, Andrew Wallace.
Well, he's hanging out with some tough guys out there in Ireland.
Yeah,
you know, they like to mix it up.
Absolutely, they are some of the toughest. Some of the English guys, they are the toughest in the world, as you've probably seen those that come over there. But it's an amazing career for young Andrew Wallace. He debuted back in May 2005 in a 4-round fight, and which he won. We never, and he had 4 fights. We never saw him again until April in 2012. So, some 7 years later, he pops up here in Australia, and he's now had 3 fights. They have a common opponent in Jobert De La Reyes, where Andrew Wallace defeated De La Reyes in 4 rounds, and so did Terry Tzouramanis. He also defeated. Gee, they've got some punches, these guys, in there, as Wallace stands right inside the ring and invites Tzouramanis to hit him. Oh, and he does too.
Yeah, it's dangerous. He's got his hands down.
Crazy. If you're not going to have your hand up, it's got a big sign on that chin that says, hit me.
Exactly, and his opponent is doing just that. You know, Brad, as you know, you have tons of experience all around the world. You're seeing some action going on tonight. How does this pair for you?
Well, when you consider that these guys have had 10 and 8 fights respectively, I mean, they're very well equipped. I'm not sure about their amateur careers, but no doubt they've had some sort of amateur career, and they're really turning it on here for the local crowd down here in Geelong as Tzouramanis again backs up Wallace onto the ropes, going left and right, starts to lay on him a little bit now. Just starting to try and get on top with his punches. He's actually headhunting just that little bit, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He's got to remember, you got to go back downstairs and start breaking your guy down. He's giving some good rib shots there and a couple of looping right hands. We'll see if he can settle down on those punches and make them effective.
If he starts to sit down on his punches just that little bit, right, and he's trying to dig in, he's trying to hit, he just needs to settle down on his punches a little bit. Just let the punches flow like Wallace is there. Exactly. Wallace is just letting them go, and he's working up, stop. He's gone down high, low, he's gone upstairs, he's gone down to the body as well. Cops a little right uppercut. Nice little good kit of punches by both fighters. Nothing really effective here yet.
Not yet, but I tell you what, this kid out of the red corner is he's putting a lot of pressure on him.
Absolutely. Andrew Wallace doesn't have to go and find him. He's standing
he's standing right there, and he's ground and pound. What you're looking at right now is a ground and pound work, and he's giving Andy Wallace something to hold on to.
Absolutely. Terrific event here put on by David Stanley and Michael and Sam Solomon. Their very first event down here in Geelong. We have the Mayor of Geelong here. We have a number of councillors. We have, as the bell goes for the end of the second round, and we have a number of notable people here. We're joined by some of the former AFL footballers, some of the current AFL footballers down in the Geelong Pickadoo.
Yeah, well, you're exactly right. You talk about the Mayweather-Pacquiao fights where you have 15, 18,000 folks coming out to support their guy. But I tell you, this can't compete. What you're looking at tonight, what do we have, about maybe 7,000 to 9,000 folks here tonight? Wonderful table service.
Absolutely.
What a class act David Stanley and his folks put on tonight.
They have. Look, they've done it really, really. I'll tell you what, a number of the promoters around Australia could take a leaf out of the book of David Stanley and his crew, because they have done a remarkable job.
This is wonderful when you get a chance to see folks sitting back, enjoying a glass of wine, a glass of beer, eating some wonderful shrimp and the wonderful breads and things that they have here, and watching a very competitive fight that we have here in the ring.
And the shrimp, have you tried the shrimp tonight?
Oh, it's lovely.
There's none better than Victorian shrimp.
This is good water down here.
Absolutely, it's good stuff. And look, honestly, all accolades should go to David Stanley, Michael Bates and Sam Solomon for putting on this tremendous event. And it really is an event. It's not just a fight night, it's actually an event. We have a number of beautiful females here tonight who are really enjoying the action and really getting into it, all really dressed up and really come to the fights to have a night out.
I have to say it, and David Stanley has created a Las Vegas-esque environment where the folks, all the ladies are dressed up, the gentlemen are dressed up very nicely, and this is the way fights used to be back in Vegas.
Absolutely. Absolutely, and this is the way the fight should be.
Yes, because it's a night out.
Yeah, and we have a really, really strong women's program now worldwide. Have some fantastic women fighters, and they're all here, watching the fights, and and it inspires women to get fit. It inspires them to say it's not a male-dominated sport anymore.
Not anymore. These women are coming out tougher, stronger, more motivated. You saw them in the Olympics. some of the most memorable fights that came out of this Olympics were the women.
Absolutely. And we've got a real arm wrestle in this fight as we're into the third round here now with Terry Tzouramanis really trying to unload on Andrew Wallace. But let me tell you, Andrew Wallace is a little bit of a surprise packer. We don't know too much about him, but by golly, he has been around. You can just tell by his mannerisms, his presence in the ring itself. And he's really, he's not intimidated, and he's been under the pump a little bit by Tzouramanis, who's really smothering him in punches as he fights off the ropes, but he's still there trying.
He's still there trying, and but I tell you, Terry is landing some good punches. I mean, he's Andy's trying to lay on him a little bit. Now he's put a little pressure in the corner. We'll see if he can be effective here.
Oh, some big right hands there, Rob, right over our commentary position in the neutral corner as referee Ignatius Missilides breaks them up. Wallace starting to get a little bit of confidence now, but he just succumbs to that left rip, left hook to the body, which is a great punch for Tzouramanis. Right hand by Wallace, clubbing left hook over the top, left and right again by Tzouramanis, and a good third round. Gee, I'm glad I'm not a judge on this fight.
Well, hey, this is where the pros are made, right here.
Absolutely, and when these guys are the future of our sport,
Yes.
We've got some real stars in Australia: Danny Green, Anthony Mundine, Daniel Gill.
When you get two guys like this in the ring, it's terrible that one of them has to lose, but they're going to keep working hard and keep making their career progress.
And how do you see the fight so far, Rob? We've been talking about anything and everything but the fight, but you're such an interesting guy to talk to, and you've travelled halfway around the world. You and I have worked together in New Zealand and in Tasmania for the Daniel Gill fight 3 or 4 times now in the last 6 months. And
what a privilege it has been.
It's an absolute honour to have you down here as well. Such a well-established judge. Prior to being a judge, you were an inspector and a commissioner for the Nevada Athletic Commission.
Yes, I was. Hey, I'll tell you what a wonderful experience that was, and not to get too deep into it and get away from this fight, but I worked in that. I worked as an inspector for 7 years, and it was probably the highlight of my career, working in the corners with some of George Foreman, Evander Holyfield, of course Mike Tyson.
Absolutely.
Just being in the corners with some of the best fighters in the world, seeing Sugar Ray Leonard at the tail end of his career. It's just amazing, and what a blessing it has been.
Absolutely. As we get back to the action here, as Terry Tzouramanis unloads with a beautiful rapid fire, left, right, left onto the chin of Andrew Wallace, but Wallace is equal to the task, a double right hand over the top, and Andrew Wallace claims him just in close, trying to. This is a real arm wrestle. Tell me, Robert. Take me back to September 1996 when Mike was really frustrated when he fought Evander and he bit Evander's ear. You were the inspector, and for those of you folks at home, you'll recall if you see that fight, you'll see one of the inspectors in the burgundy jackets go over and grab Mike and pull him away. And that's the guy that's sitting right next door to me. That's Robert Hoyle, who's there. It would have been an amazing experience. The high was high, but the low was pretty low as well.
Very true. But I tell you, for those folks who have never seen Mike Tyson or Evander Holyfield fight, you really missed out on an amazing opportunity. Those guys brought the level of boxing that it's out of the stratosphere.
It came to another level, didn't it?
Oh, totally another level. And I guess for Mike that night, the frustration built, and unfortunately, some unfortunate things occurred. But I tell you, as my position with the Nevada Athletic Commission, and a proud position as it was a point where you had to step in and make sure that you kept it calm and the peace, because not only are you trying to control what's happening in the ring, but you got to make sure that peace is carried over into the crowd. You don't want that chaos to be carried over to 20,000 folks where people are getting hurt, and it just gets out of control.
And of course it gives boxing a bad name.
Exactly.
Exactly. As we see Tzouramanis over the top with a left hook, and Andrew Wallace really on the back move, fighting on the back move, but still standing in front of Tzouramanis.
Toe to toe.
It really is. This is a close, hard fight. Wallace just seems to be getting the better of the exchanges with cleaner punches. His effective aggression is where we score. Actually seems to be just a little better than Terry Tzouramanis, who looks like he's sucking it in just a little bit. Ferocious. As we go, we'll see the 10-second tapper for the end of the 4th round.
I think Terry just take a little breather here as he heads back to the corner.
Absolutely.
He'll regain his feet, regain his legs, and see how he comes out for the 5th round.
Yeah, absolutely. A really good close round, and I think that on the look of that, perhaps maybe Andrew Wallace, Robert, tonight, you said you don't know a lot about, either fighter, but then again, realistically, you don't need to know a lot about either fighter, because really at the end of the day, it's simple, a red corner, blue corner, and you're going to come and judge the fight as a red corner, blue corner, and there's no Sam Solomon, there's no Giovanni Lorenzo. And
there's no champion in tonight's fight. Each fighter has to win. There's 12 fights they're going to go through tonight, and as we go through the scorecards, there's going to be 12 fights scored independently.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
That's what the folks outside need to realize.
Yeah.
Round 1, round 2, those are individual fights all by themselves.
And that's great, and that's the logic with which, as professional judges, we work with,
Yes, indeed.
And you can't do it any other way, can you?
No, you can't. You can't, and it's not fair to the fighters, nor is it fair to the fans. We're here to make sure that they get a good, clean, fair fight. And if they earn the win, they will get the win.
Absolutely. And we've discussed this many times over breakfast, where as officials and responsible officials, and in this sport you really only get, you're as good as your last fight, aren't you?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
And we've discussed it many times that as officials we need to see that both fighters have a fair and equal opportunity to win the contest. There's a lot of emotion in there. There's two emotions. As a referee, we're dealing with the red corner and the blue corner. They've both got their teams. They've got their mates, their girlfriends, their boyfriends, their uncles, their cousins. All there to help them, encourage them, and they don't want to look bad in front of anybody.
Not at all. That referee has a tough job. He's not only have to officiate these two fighters, but he's got to maintain a level of control in the ring that transcends outside this ring. The folks around the ring, the fans that are watching, they have to make sure he is ensuring that the folks are getting a fair fight and is fairly officiated, and this guy's doing a great job.
Absolutely. He's a great referee, Ignatius. He's an IBF accredited referee. Probably one of our leading referees. We've got Malcolm Bourner down here in Melbourne as well. Very experienced WBC referee. In fact, he actually refereed my last professional fight way back in 1972. And great referee. But Ignatius is a really good referee. He's very fair. He's very equal. There's no favouritism. There's no bias. It's a simple red corner, blue corner with him as well.
Well, I got to say, he's got a certain brand of that's going on about him, which, I tell you, nothing like learning from the best. You do an amazing job in the ring, and I tell you, this guy's foot movement, his being able to stay at the right angles, he's been studying the best, I see.
Thanks, Rob. It's lovely for you to say that. But look, at the end of the day, it's a very personal thing what you do. You're positioning inside the boxing ring. You're positioning to the fighters so that you can be close enough to save a fighter, close enough to keep on top of them and let them know that you're there and you won't accept any fouls. But yet you're still far enough away to let them fight their natural fight.
Exactly, and that's exactly what he's doing. Andy's throwing some big shots, but hey, Terry just caught him with a great shot.
Gee, these
he's
guys,
holding on.
Hey, they're not going to miss each other, are they?
No.
This is fabulous stuff as referee Ignatius Missilidis breaks him again. I see that now Terry Tzouramanis has got his hands held nice and high now, Rob. I think he's learnt the lesson. Maybe he heard you.
I think he did. These guys, a lot of times, they hear the announcers, what they're saying outside the ring, and I think somebody told him, keep your hands up, and great body shot. Great left hook to the body.
He threw the left hook to the head that just swiped the top of Andrew Wallace, and then he went straight back down under the rib cage. But Andrew Wallace over the looping right hand is a big winner for him.
Yeah, and he's going to the supermarket with some of these big shots here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But Tzouramanis is just all over Andrew Wallace at the moment. And at the end of the fifth round, that was a terrific round. Again, another hard round to score. And by golly, I don't know how. I might even go and ask Michelle Lansdowne who she's got in front, because I tell you why, I don't know.
It wasn't an easy night. And for him to step up his game now, and he's going to go and try to unify the title, what a privilege for him to be in that position.
He really does have a hard fight in 1 week's time on the 1st of September in Germany against the WBA Super champion of the middleweight division, Felix Sturm, who has defended his title 15 times without loss before being made the super champion. As Andrew Wallace really starts to unload on Terry Tzouramanis. Two over-the-top right hands and a hard left hook really caught the attention of Tzouramanis.
I think what Andy's trying to do, I think he's got somewhere to go because he's really stepping up his fight. He's
really
throwing
has.
some big shots.
He has.
He's got to put his shots together, but really he's throwing some big shots. He's trying to finish this.
He is, and I can see a cut that's developed over the left eye of Andrew Wallace, just over the top of the eyelid, I think it is. I can see some blood on the cheek there. I'm not sure whether that cut was caused by an accidental head clash or indeed a punch. Yeah, this could bring a premature end to the fight. Let's hope that that's not the case, as referee Ignatius Missilidis warns.
And I noticed he took a look at the eye just to see how it was working. These guys aren't close, and the heads are going to clash. Their fighting styles, they've been fighting toe-to-toe, so it's almost impossible for these heads not to clash.
We look like we're in about a 22-foot ring tonight, Rob, and I guess we really didn't need this ring. They could have probably saved themselves a couple of thousand. They just bought a phone box in because this would have done the same job for these young guys.
I saw a closet down the hallway. These two could have fought, and they'd have been excited.
Is that your closet at home with all your clothes and your suits that you wear?
It's all your hand-me-downs, Brad.
This is a real enthralling fight, as we see ferocious Terry Tzouramanis and Andy Wallace, a newbie to Australia. We don't know much about him, but by golly, has he left an impression on the crowd here at the arena here in Geelong. And it may be cold outside, Robert Hoyle, but let me tell you, it's really warming up inside the arena right here.
The action is heating up. These guys are toe-to-toe. 3, 4, 5 punch combos coming from each fighter.
And look, the fight has been fought at a very good pace, and these guys are still standing there as Tzouramanis just starts to unload a little bit on Wallace. Again, his head's hunting. I'd like to see him start to use the high-low principle where he goes low and then gets the hands down and then come back up top, as Ignatius Missilidis has a good look at the left eye of Andrew Wallace. Has it opened up a little bit more with those barrage of punches that's come from Terry Tzouramanis. What an absolute arm wrestle this is. An amazing contest. Testament to the fitness and the work ethic of these two guys outside the boxing ring.
Brad, I like what you said about the high-low concept. That was one of the things I was trained with. I called it the 22. Whenever you shot a 22 caliber bullet, you always 2 to the body, 1 to the head, and that's the attack. That's the attack plan that you stick with.
I have to tell you, Rob, that over here we can't hold 22s no more. We had to hand them in to the local constabulary, and they paid us to hand them in too. So guns are not allowed here in Victoria anymore.
I understand.
What a 6th round of boxing that was. Again, I'm going to go with the local guy, Terry Tzouramanis, and that's no reflection on the lack of ability by Andrew Wallace, because he has really put his heart and soul into this. Is going to lose the fight by TKO, which is a recognised rule worldwide, as the referee asked both fighters to come out for round number 7. It's all on the line here. I have Terry Tzouramanis slightly ahead, but Andrew Wallace and Michael Vukovic in the corner over there, I know they've done a terrific job. There's no blood now coming from that eye. And of course, here in Australia, Robert, they can only use adrenaline 1/1000th on the eye. Is that the same as the Nevada Athletic Commission?
Exactly the same. And with the smart cornerman, and obviously Andrew Wallace has the smart cornerman. They took care of that. I noticed Ignatius. He took a look at it. I don't know if Terry has reopened the cut, but
it's starting to bleed now. I think just the wear and tear and the hustle and bustle of this.
That's what's going to happen.
In the odd club, it doesn't have to be a clean scoring blow to open them up much these days. They're using Everlast gloves, which are really a puncher's gloves, as you well know.
Yes, indeed.
But our doctor at ringside is Dr. Peter Lewis. He's one of the best in the business, and he doesn't get fazed by blood as a lot of referees do. Ignatius doesn't. That's why he's let these guys go. Some referees, as you probably have seen yourself, Rob, the sight of blood. Oh, gee, we've got to stop this fight. Oh, there's blood. But, experienced referees know what they're about. They know what these kids have gone through to get there, and the effort that they've gone. And we don't want to deprive them of the ability in order to win the fight just simply because they've got a cut.
No, and I noticed that Ignatius, he's really watching. He's keeping an eye on it. But he's still allowing these guys to fight. He's giving the fans a chance to see a good competitive fight. He knows when a cut is going to start interfering with the fighter's inability to continue.
And the other thing is, too, Andrew Wallace is still very competitive.
Look at him. He's still in there toe-to-toe. He is not pawing at that eye at all.
Not at all. And if it was a one-sided fair and he's got a cut and he's struggling to stay in the fight, well, then a referee's going to show a little bit, a little bit of compassion and sort of say, hey, look, I'd rather you live to fight another day. And, we've got a cut right over the eye and we've got to protect you to fight on. But, Ignatius has seen the better side of that because he knows this kid's still competitive. He's still having a go. He's still delivering good punches. And this is a good, close, hard fight. Tremendous matchmaking. And let me tell you, folks, the matchmaker for tonight, guess who? The main event fighter, the guy who's looking to fight for the World Middleweight Championship is Sam Solomon. And Sam, if you're listening to this, congratulations on your effort as a matchmaker because you have put some of the matchmakers, professional matchmakers that I know, to shame. We've had a tremendous card tonight, just with one stoppage, which the guy was an incredibly good fighter and a guy making his professional debut. But the rest of them have been uncanny and terrific fights that we can only sit there in amazement.
Well, Brad, that's a surprise to me. I didn't know he did the matchmaking, but I tell you what, he put together a spectacular card. These guys are so evenly matched. There's no one-sided fights here tonight. No one is padding their record tonight. No, not at all.
And, Sam Solomon himself, just a great sportsman. He fights it hard, he fights it fair, and he's in the sport for the right reasons. He wants to achieve what he can. And there we go, the end of round 7. Oh, that was another close, hard round. By golly.
I got to tell you, as an official, you always say to yourself, which fights do you want to get? This is a tough fight.
Absolutely.
The action again, toe-to-toe. These guys are putting on a very spectacular fight for the fans. There's no holding or dancing tonight.
Absolutely not. And, this is what the fans come to see. They want to come and see good competitive fights. And it doesn't matter. We don't need to be a De La Hoya. We don't need to be a Mayweather or a Pacquiao. Most fans aren't going to know Terry Tzouramanis or Andrew Wallace. But look, we've got 2,000 odd people just sitting here screaming and yelling for guys that they don't really know. Oh, and you've conned up, you've got the chocolates come in here, Robert Hoyle.
Ladies and gentlemen,
they are
dessert
looking
has
us
arrived.
Here tonight. But look, when we see that, and this is what the sport's all about. We've got two guys who are really keen, really putting everything into the fight, and they're showing their wares. As we come up to, as referee asks both boys to touch gloves for the 8th and final round.
Okay, this is where the magic's going to happen. This might be what, is the winning round for the winning fighter.
Absolutely, it's that close. There's only a round or two as Wallace unloads to the body and the head. Oh, looping right hand certainly caught the attention of Tzouramanis. And his hands are up now, Terry.
Yes. I tell you, Wallace he's banging it out. He is going for broke.
Well, I think he knows he's probably slightly behind on the scorecards, and this is a really hard, close fight. And our judges tonight, one of the finest in the business here in Victoria, Anika Williams, Chris Anderson, and who's our other judge? I just can't see him over there.
He's kind of blocked by the ropes there, but he is concentrating very hard.
Scott Brower, who was himself a former Australian champion and a member of the board and a terrific judge. Oh, as Wallace unloads on Tzouramanis right on top of our commentary position. Big right hands by Wallace. He's got Tzouramanis, and Tzouramanis claims him, ties him up and says, let's have a little bit of a break while I get my thoughts back, as Wallace says, come on, let's go.
Exactly. Terry walked him down there shortly, but I tell you, Wallace came right back on him. He's back on him with some big shots.
Oh, the shots are flying here. And everything is flush. Everything is clean with the knuckle part of the glove to the scoring part of the body. And you can understand as they start to clinch.
They're throwing with bad intentions. These are bad intention punches tonight.
Great right hand by there for Tzouramanis. Tzouramanis just hasn't been able to really tag Andy Wallace, and he hasn't really hurt him. But you don't have to hurt your opponent to win the round.
No.
It's just really just a clean scoring blow with the knuckle part of the glove to the scoring part of the body. As the blue corner is starting to get a little bit urgent over there, they're urging Andrew Wallace to come on and fight as Tzouramanis fights on the back on the ropes. Going to the body, Wallace, he's falling all over Tzouramanis. Yes, certainly winning this round, Andrew Wallace.
He changed the tempo of this round. He's, here's some good punches coming back from Terry. What's he doing?
There's the tide change. Has he punched himself out? Oh, look at this. This is absolute fight. This has got to be one of the undercard fights of the year here in Australia.
Some changing of the guards happening here.
And I hope you're watching this, and you're going to see this on Fight Sports on Aurora 183. brought to you by Paris Productions and the crew down here in the arena in Geelong as Wallace backs Terry Tzouramanis up to the ropes again. He's not letting, he's all over him like a cheap suit.
Yes, indeed. Tzouramanis, he got off the ropes, which was a good idea, but he's back on the ropes again. He got a few punches missing there, but they're trying.
Absolutely. Look, the effective aggression,
yes,
the overall aggression has got to go with Andrew Wallace in this 8th and final round. 10 seconds, we're inside 10 seconds, and both boys trying to go West, and they're both showing some urgency here. And the crowd get behind them. Who's going to win this fight as the bell goes for the end of the 8th round? Oh, and look at the eye of Andrew Wallace. Oh my God. We've been in a fight as Tzouramanis goes over and touches him up to the blue corner. And Big Ben Chua wipes his charge down. Have they done enough? Has Andrew Wallace done enough as Dr. Peter Lewis comes over to have a look at the eye? What an amazing fight.
Amazing fight. The results now are in the judges' hands. And
absolutely in the judges' hands. And look, I think in the early rounds I'd have to favour the effective aggression, the overall aggression of Terry Tzouramanis. But in the later rounds, I could see that the fight was changing. I think Andrew Wallace got a little more confident as the night went on. His punches seemed to be delivered a little cleaner and a little harder. You know, by golly, we're in for a fight. Don't be surprised if this is an upset decision here.
How about a big ovation to these two warriors? 8 rounds of boxing. We have a split decision.
A split decision, Rob, as I said.
Judge Scott Brower gave it 77-76 red corner. Judge Nicola Williams had it 77-76 once again, only a 1-point margin. How close can you get? Final count, Chris Anderson Sr., 78-74. Split points winner, blue corner.
Oh, he's won it. Andrew Wallace has caused an upset here tonight. And the crowd here at the arena don't like it.
They don't like it, but you know, hey, this was a very close fight. You know,
amazing.
It's all about perspectives, and the 3 judges, their scores were close.
Yeah, absolutely. Andrew Wallace from Wolverhampton in the United Kingdom via Belfast in Ireland, who now calls Australia home, has snuck home in a split decision over the local favourite, Terry Tzouramanis. The score's 77-76 for Tzouramanis by Scott Brower, 77-76 by Anika Williams, 78-74 by Chris Anderson, and we have a split decision to the blue corner to Andrew Wallace. And look, both guys can really be happy with their performance. Sad that there has to be a loser like that.
There's got to be, but I tell you, these guys fought toe-to-toe. The scores are indicative of a close fight, and that's what we got tonight.
That was a real war for sure, wasn't it?
Yes, Howard. It was definitely one of the best fights. I mean, Terry's a tough guy. The cut was a bit of a hard problem to heal in the corner. We couldn't get a blood stop, but yeah, it was a good fight. Terry wants a rematch. We'll definitely bring it on.
Okay, bring it on. Andrew Wallace and Terry Tzouramanis.